Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 27th, 2019, with your host, Spaceburger2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, no.
I hit the wrong scene, and then I looked over, and I'm like, oops. I was just going to quietly just switch over and not say anything, but then I was like, no, I screwed that up. I'll own up to that one.
Well, I could say we could talk about 0-1, but it just came out, subs. So, well.
You know, I forgot to even look to see if it was out, so. Yeah,
Get him Corp just put it out.
Either way, we wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah. I saw the Raw. And something in the Raw may or may not have implied an immunity? Maybe? Maybe I'm misreading the scene? I'm not entirely sure. It's something I'm going to have to pay attention to when I watch it after we're done.
Now, next week is the week we don't have a 0-1 episode, right?
Right. We do not have a 0-1 episode this coming Saturday.
Then I might at some point throughout the week rewatch everything up to this week's. Because, you know, I've said I kind of want to do that anyhow to kind of see if there was stuff that we might have missed the first time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot there.
I mean, you get to pay attention to the background to every time Izu does something. That's something to look out for, because I didn't even realize... I knew she did one thing in the background for an episode, but I didn't even realize she was doing another thing in the background in a different episode until I saw the screen cap of it, and I'm like, God damn it!
Oh, wow.
I missed her doing all of Aruto's, I'll be the only one to defeat you pose until I just saw a gif of it. But I did see her blowing on Aruto when he was getting burned. When he got knocked back in one episode. So yeah, Izu is a wonderful and adorable character, and god damn it, I'm going to hate the day they try to turn her into a maverick. And potentially succeed.
I'm in between on what I think is going to happen with that. Because part of me is like, yes, that probably will happen. The other part of me feels like they might kind of gloss over it more because of the way the opening is showing. Like, she might have a bigger role in everything, and that kind of be the focal point, which I would be fine with.
Yeah, I could see that. It's so nice that I'm like, I like every character in this show. Fucking Dodo Assassin has been around for 2 whole episodes. And I am like, I love this guy. He's a wonderful addition to these 2 idiots.
Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, can't we just get a Fourze driver for him and just kind of make him be a mainstay?
Pretty much.
I mean...
Dodo for Rider. That needs to happen.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Are you intentionally being quiet, or is something happening? And that might have answered my question. Yay, technical difficulties. And this time it's not my fault. So I need to find that image from before. Well, the good news is it wasn't me. The bad news is I think it was his internet. And or computer. Well, you kind of are back. And by kind of are back, I mean your mic is staying lit up for some reason, and I hear nothing. I think IR find image. If I can figure it out where I put it. By the way, I can't remember where I put the darn thing. Because I'm that good at keeping up with stuff. Okay.
Hello?
So I guess something bugged on my side then? I blame Discord?
Nothing on my end says anything is wrong. Why?
Like initially you just dropped. Just flat out dropped. It still listed me as fully connected and everything.
Oh, okay. So you can hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I literally did not. Everything was fine. Like, Discord said everything was good. Fucking the computer said everything was good. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I am in the process of trying to figure out where the technical difficulties image is. Because I know I've still got it. It's a matter of where I still have it.
Yeah, I don't even remember where I have it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully everything just holds together.
Probably
for now.
Not.
Shall we get into Fourze then?
I mean, I guess.
All right. So we're covering 4 episodes again this week, 17 through 20. It debuted January 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th of 2011. Our January batch of episodes coming out of Megamax. How are you feeling going in?
I don't know, honestly. I'm kind of just at the kind of part at this point. Because I feel like maybe if we'd watched it in proper order, that may have changed. I know it would have been impossible the way we were doing it, but yeah. That's one of those I'm like, maybe. Also, yeah, because you've already found it, and I'm moving it right now to where I can find it again later. Also, that one. For those wondering. We do, in fact, have a technical difficulty.
And oh my god, that is so old. My old crappy light box. That, for reference, the only way I could take pictures with this light box that doesn't exist anymore, I trashed it. Which the light box was just a cardboard box cut out and had some, like, film on the holes on the top and the sides, and just some,
that's
like,
where it
poster board.
By the way, that was me forgetting where I actually had the Fourze image. Luckily, there's a limit to how many folders it could possibly be in at that point, but still, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. But yeah, for reference, how I had to take my pictures with my light box is I had to put the light box on my bed and then hook up the 3 lights and like clamp them onto the sides and top of my bed, and then take pictures with my old camera. It was a process to take pictures with a light box.
Also, there you go, in case you want to get a fresh download and have it somewhere you could find it.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but I figured just in case.
Hell, I just, like, did some cleaning out on my hard drive of just, like, here's some old backups of stuff I don't need, and here's just some crap I'm sure I don't need. Let me just delete this real quick to try to get some space back on my external, because I'm about at 1 terabyte left of 3 terabytes.
Lucky.
Yeah. Bear in mind, I think about a full terabyte of that is archives of streams at this point. I don't know how far back it goes. I don't want to know how far back it goes.
But yeah, there's no telling how far back it actually goes.
It doesn't go super far back because that part is on a different external hard drive. Like, I think it goes back a while. But not back to the Kingdom Hearts Marathon, because that's on a different external.
Oh, well, then that's not too bad.
Yeah. But yeah, it's we have an interesting batch of episodes that you're more or less meant to have watched Megamax before the last half of the episodes we watched last week, and then come into these episodes like, hey, you finally get information on Ryusei, even though, oh yeah, we've already seen Ryusei untransformed as Meteor. Oh, we also know kind of his motivations at this point. Welp. Anywho, you ready to get rolling into the first half?
I guess so.
All right, we're gonna kick things off with episode 17, Meteor Appearance. We start off with Ryusei practicing alone as Meteor in a temple at night before he checks in with his benefactor, as I'm going to call him, Tachibana, who resides on a satellite in space.
Space.
The satellite is called M-Bus for reference, but you don't have to worry about the name of it. More or less, the satellite exists in order to give Meteor his transformation a la 01. Fantastically timed.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's exactly what it does.
Yep. The only difference is it doesn't pop out an animal or something to go fucking destroying property.
True.
Also, Tachibana is masked with some type of robot mask, because we're not allowed to know who Tachibana is really. Don't worry, we'll get to find out who Tachibana really is at some point. Also, if you're a Blade fan, prepare to be confused, since Garen's actor is Hayame in the series, but in Blade he was Tachibana. He's off to Amanagawa to chase after who he's wanting to get, which takes us to the next day, where Kengo informs Yuki, and by extension us, that yeah, I don't know anything about this new writer. He's not in anything from my dad's research, so I don't know who the fuck this person is. Ryusei comes in with Sanada to be introduced to the class. Kentaro, who's running late, runs into him, does his usual shtick of introducing him, being buddies with him, even asks someone nicely to move seats so Ryusei can be behind him. And from all the internal narration we get, Ryusei hates every single second of this. Absolutely so.
And to be fair, I can kind of understand that.
Yeah. Also, Sanada hates all of this because, you know, she hasn't gotten over the fact that Fourze kicked her ass.
And that she knows exactly who Fourze is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we got a bit of gossip from the other classmates that informs us a cat Zodiarch is on the loose, specifically Lynx. That's our cold open. Coming out of it, we're in the cafeteria where we see Gentaro check in with the different groups of folks, find out what they're up to and stuff, be his friendly self, because apparently he just made friends with a whole bunch of people between like last week's episode and this week's episode. So Ryusei is observing and giving his comments on the entire situation. Pretty much most of his narration is, I hate this guy, I hate friendship, why do I have to do this? I really want to punch this man. Kengo almost catches him saying some of the stuff out loud, and after he sits down, he's confronted by another smart student who wants to beat him and be top of the class and stuff. Kengo kind of just like, all right, cool. You do you. And he has a very obvious tick that initially looks like someone pressing one of the Zodiac switches. Which I'm sure Gentaro took immediate notice of, and I think he's the only one who took notice of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gentaro even encourages this other student, like, "Hey, go do your best. I'll root for you." And he blows him off, and Gentaro tries to show him his plate spinning skills to show, like, "Oh, hey, I'm not a complete idiot." Outside of the fact of, like, why do I have plate spinning skills? Granted, that is extremely hard to do. But the guy blows him off because he's an asshole. Later on, after lunch, Gentaro and Yuki, Kengo, and Ryusei are our current group that we're following. Gentaro gets stopped by Usugi, who gets on Gentaro's case because he's still not in the uniform. He's still in his normal attire that we know him for. And Ryusei's also in his transfer school attire that is totally not the same school as the regular Nadeshiko, not writer Nadeshiko that we came to know. Also, I double checked. No, we will not see regular Nadeshiko in the future. So, yeah. Yeah, as Gentaro is getting chewed out, Ryusei points out that, there's no, like, rule or anything about the dress code that you're talking about, so I don't know why you're getting on his case. And Gentaro even gloats at him. It's just like, Teach, why don't you know the rules? There's rules. The rules. So Sugi just gets upset a little bit and just walks off. And Gentaro even thanks Ryusei for the help. And he mentions being friends and stuff, and Gentaro's like, no, this isn't how this works. We're not friends yet. You're trying to be buddy-buddy with me. Even through all the shit I'm doing. This doesn't work this way. This is not how this works. And I also feel like he's having flashbacks to Jake at the moment of just like, oh, so the last time somebody buddied up with me, like all that shit happened. Maybe I should be more cautious about this one.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's probably exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, before Gentaro can talk to Ryusei about this whole situation, the Lynx Zodiac attacks Kengo, which prompts Gentaro to fight it, and Ryusei to run away behind a wall so he can observe. Because Ryusei is going to be doing it a lot over the course of the next 4 episodes, so anytime a monster attacks, just assume Ryusei ran and either transformed or did nothing. Yeah. Except for one
exception.
time. Yeah. When you decide to take someone else's job and be terrible at it.
Yeah. And this whole him hiding this time, I kind of almost thought that they would play that as, Kengo might have figured out that that's what he was doing. And might be having a clue that piece together, but they don't. And it's like, oh. Because one of the shots, I think they made it to where they could have went that direction, but chose to not do it.
I'll put it this way. At the end of this half of the episodes, there's only one person that I think even remotely suspects what's going on. And he doesn't say anything. And also, we're not going to get this reveal for 14 episodes from this current episode we're talking about. Yes, it takes us 14 episodes to get to the reveal of Ryusei as Meteor to the rest of the club.
God.
Yeah.
And I thought we were done with the slow burning.
Welcome to the slow burn of Fourze. That is this middle portion. Don't worry, there is good stuff here. Like golf memes and Meteor Storm.
I'm not gonna say there's not, but that has to be the thing that I'm like, wow, why are we slow burning plot points that don't need to really be? Because I mean, in all seriousness, the 4 episodes that we are doing this week, that's fine. I would honestly, after the last set, think that would be what leads to the point where he's like, look, I might need to let them know. I don't feel like it should be dragging on any longer than where we're already at coming out of what we're covering this week.
Yeah.
Personally. So I'm gonna say it now. That might be a complaint I'm gonna have.
Yeah. I mean, we have a golf meme, and we have probably one of the best horoscopes of the series in between now and then. But yeah, it's almost like the show forgot that we have. How many horoscopes do we have to go through right now? 12?
Yeah.
We forgot to go through 12 horoscopes and went, oh fuck, we have to do this after we do all of this, pretty much the entirety of Meteor's character arc. Over the course of 14 episodes. Anyway, while Gitro's trying to take care of the Link Zodiac, he tries playing with him with a ball and chain. Doesn't work, so he has to actually fight him. He gets the upper hand for a little bit until the cat just leaves because the bell rang. So they all have to leave because they all got class. Except the club doesn't because they go for a club meeting instead.
Unless there's a not really explicitly said, but does exist time skip kind of deal.
Yeah. Anyway, we see the club regroup at the rabbit hutch to strategize, while Ryusei does follow them and find out where the rabbit hutch is and causes a small distraction in order to sneak into this very small room and hide himself in a fucking cubby to observe. How the fuck does nobody notice him in their peripheral?
Plot convenience.
Because for reference, the rabbit hutch, it looks like the size of like a living room.
Yeah.
And is as open as a living room is. It's just like, how the fuck do none of you notice someone walking by you who is not that far away from you?
It's actually a very good question.
Yeah. Anyway, as the team strategizes, Gentaro immediately pegs the guy from earlier as the switcher because the Link Zodiac also has the same tick. So, yeah, they immediately go off to go confront him because Jake knows where he hangs out at this point, or at this time of day. So they're off. Also as note, Ryusei does not like the title of Kamen Rider. Ryusei doesn't like a lot of things this episode in the next episode.
Yeah. And I feel like that's just kind of his thing for at least a while.
Yeah. As the club leaves to confront our switcher, Ryusei stays behind to kind of scope out the rabbit hutch, take some pictures, check in with Tachibana to be like, hey, they got a base on the moon because of space magic. And I'm like, yes, I love that the show is acknowledging, yes, it's space magic. It's not science, it's space magic. We also get a bit of Ryusei's backstory. We just get flashes of his backstory for now. We'll get the full story in a couple episodes, actually, so stay tuned. We cut over...
Coming out of these 4, do we actually get his backstory in full, or is it just the outline of it and we're still filling in details?
I think you get the most of it, to be honest. I don't think there's much more than this.
Okay. Because it kind of felt like it could be just left where it's at, but at the same time there could be some little details added that might be important.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more than this, so I think we're fine. Anywho, we cut over to the club as they find the Switcher at a cafe, and Gentro tries to talk him out of the Switch, or tries to talk him into giving up the Switch. The guy absolutely refuses, and his Switch goes last one, so now they have to go fight this guy. They fight him inside the cafe, and once they take it outside, Lynx ends up taking Jake as a hostage onto this stage that you've seen probably 5 times by now if you're watching Rider, because I believe we've seen this stage before. I think we've seen this stage in 01, I think.
Probably.
Because I think, no, it's a different stage. It's not this one. I've seen it in Ryu Solgar recently, is what I'm thinking of. But Link demands Fourze or Gentro to undo his transformation, which he does. And he's knocked into the seats, and the belt lands on the stage. So Gentro's out of this fight for now. Ryusei, who's watching the whole scene, transforms. We see that the satellite has to beam down the transformation stuff to let him transform into Meteor. And when he transforms, he can turn into a ball of fire, essentially, to like move about and make a dramatic entrance. But yeah, he goes to fight Lynx without giving 2 shits about Jake being held as a hostage, and proceeds to beat the ever-loving shit out of Lynx. And even blows him up with a limit break. Unfortunately, the explosion reverses, and he suppresses the last one state, meaning he has the potential to be a horoscope. Zodiac horoscope. And this is when Meteor decides, okay, you can go now. Literally lets him go because he is after the Aries horoscope Zodiac, and will more or less continue to beat the shit out of Zodiarts until one of them evolves into Aries. And he's willing to do anything to do this, and even literally rider kicks Gentro out of his own rider kick to prevent him from destroying Lynx. And we get a couple more cuts of his backstory as we see a friend of his from the same temple martial arts school that he goes to try to use a faulty, I believe, Zodiac switch, and it fails and it puts him in a coma. Ryusei ends up standing between the club and the Zodiac as the Zodiac gets away, and that's the end of episode 17. Which brings us to episode 18, Gen Ryu Showdown. Ryusei continues to beat the shit out of Gentro because, well, of course he does. And he's about ready to punch him with Mars until Tomoko steps in and just berates him for, dirtying the title of Kamen Rider with his actions and his shit. And Ryusei more or less just goes, I got my own things to do. I don't care. So, we're not friends. We're enemies. Goodbye. And leaves. And I like the intro even, comforts Tomoko a little with a hand on the shoulder. After the club all comes in to, smack talk Ryusei for his bullshit.
Yeah.
And I love that Tomoko's the one to do it, since she's the one who bequeathed the title to Fourze by knowledge. Anywho, after our cold open, coming out of it, we check in with Kamau, who is informed of the current events, and he's not pleased that some random writer has showed up, and we don't know who he is, and we don't know his shit. Sonata is the one informing him, and she even asks for one more chance as Scorpio. Maybe you shouldn't have asked for that chance with the debut of a secondary writer. That's not going to go well for you.
Not usually, no.
We check in with the club at the hutch as they're kind of discussing current events. When Ryusei Sans Meteor arrives, more or less putting up his like shy kid act, saying, "Oh, I found this place on accident when I was following you guys. Can I join the club? I want to help. I want to help fight the monsters." And everyone's kind of Ryusei hasn't shown his real self yet.
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
Oh no, did it do it again?
It did it again.
Well, when did it do it?
Like, basically rewind just about maybe 10 seconds and then you're good. Kind of deal.
Okay. So just, hey, Ryusei showed up and he wants to join the club, putting up his front.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, the club's like ready to accept him just because, hey, he knows already, we might as well. Pro says, well, okay.
We're good. I'm trying to change servers to see if that might be the thing. Maybe it's just a weird connection issue.
Yeah, because that is a weird error to be going on.
Because there again, it was showing perfectly fine on my side.
Yeah. Yeah, Gentaro refuses Ryusei's membership into the club because he hasn't seen the real Ryusei yet. More or less, he's just like, I know you're faking this. I don't know why you're faking this, but I know you're faking it. So I'm going to say no. Ryusei doesn't take this well. He punches a wall later because he's mad and checks in with Tachibana. And this is when we get, like, most of the backstory. Which is, like I said, he had a friend. They were buddies at his, like, martial arts school. The guy, I don't think we will get clarification on where the Zodiac switch came from, I believe. But he had I assume, faulty Zodiac switch, because I don't remember if it is or not. And it malfunctioned and it dunked him in a coma. And Ryusei was delivered the meteor driver, I would assume by Tachibana, with a promise that if he finds Ares, it will fix his friend.
And you know what I just thought about that?
What?
No, I'm going to wait, because if my suspicions are right, then I don't want to actually do that on the show.
I was about to say, what are your suspicions?
The malfunctioning switch may have came from someone we've already seen, kind of concept.
Oh, I honestly do not remember where the switch came from. Bear in mind, I have not seen Fourze since it aired, and this was the first show I watched live.
True.
So it has been a while. So I honestly don't remember where the switch came from, if it was actually faulty, or who is responsible.
I feel like it is a faulty switch. So,
yeah.
So I think you're right on that part of it.
Like, there is something I do remember, but it's not relevant at the moment. Anywho, we also check in with Lynx real quick as he has a quick fight with Kengo. Well, Libra Kengo. I love how the supporting cast get to have fight scenes as not their characters. Because
Yeah.
Yuki's had one, and now Kengo's had one.
And I feel like it's just going to go through the whole club at some point, right?
Probably. I don't remember. That's another thing I don't remember. I don't remember if Libra decides to disguise himself as every single club member.
Which, that's what's funny, too. That means that they technically know about the club.
I mean, yeah. Which made the whole thing with, like, Yuki trying to, like, spill the club just hilarious, because it's like, no, they already know. They would probably just use it to leverage you. They would probably just use that to leverage getting something out of you.
Yeah.
Anyway, Libra drops off some Dustards for Lynx, so he can use them the next day to cancel test day, which I couldn't help but groan when Nosugi was like, yeah, your job as a student is to take tests, and I'm like, oh, as a college student, I nah. Can I describe in how many ways I don't like that? As someone who had to went through several years of that kind of mindset of just like the only thing that matters is the test. Nothing else you do in this class matters. Anywho, because of this, Gentaro, Kengo, and Yuki are having to fight off some Dustars, while Ryusei has to fight off Simone untransformed in the stairwell since no one's around and he can actually fight him. It is so weird to see him try to replicate the suit acting. He does it pretty well.
Yeah, I gotta give him that.
Anyway, Gentaro ends up finding Lynx and tries to fight him off. Immediately tries to do a limit break, except Lynx books it immediately, very fast, prompting Gentaro to have to use the wheel switch, more or less the Segway switch. Except instead of having both your feet on the Segway, it's just one foot, which I'm sure is totally safe.
And completely comfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, he finally corners him in a plaza, and a quick fight with Alex states later, and Lynx is blown up, the switch turned off, so the guy is back to normal. Ryusei, who manages to see this fight, is absolutely irate at this, and decks Gentaro after he untransforms. He tries to cover himself, but Gentaro kind of likes that he punched him, because it's like, hey, I finally got to see the real you for a little bit. And more or less is just like, I know you're Meteor.
Yeah.
I can't prove it.
I love that the whole time Ryusei's like, oh crap, did I just screw this up? And Gentro's just like, yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna let you know I know.
Yeah. I want to say the proper Meteor reveal goes against this interpretation. But I feel like
I don't
these...
buy it.
No. Gentaro proved in these two episodes he is observant enough to notice shit like that. And I am fully like, okay, because first and foremost, he is accepted into the club at the end of this episode. He does not do the friendship handshake with him until his arc is done. Because I was looking through the notes on the wiki and stuff, and it's like, oh, he doesn't do the handshake till then. Okay, that makes sense. But unfortunately, Libra and Scorpio show up. They attack Gentaro, giving Ryusei a chance to run away, to transform, so he can run, so he can fly back. Gentaro ends up fighting Libra and more or less has the advantage for a little bit until Libra has to run away. But Ryusei obliterates Scorpio and even breaks her transformation. But this breaking transformation prompts Libra to grab Sonata, who's not disguised. She's only really disguised by the fact that she has long hair and it is covering her face. And I'm guessing none of them saw Sonata that day to notice what she's wearing.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Like, they only were like, it's a girl. And I'm like, did none of you see Sonata today to know what she was wearing?
Like, did no one go to the class?
Well, Osugi was the one handing out the test, so I'm like,
okay, but we know that they have 2 different classes.
Right.
So, I mean, that's one of those. It's like,
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, Libra takes Sonata and leaves. Ryusei leaves. Pretty much just going, I'm going to continue my quest. Fuck off. I love how Kentaro was even annoyed by this, and I'm like, you were expecting to have like a buddy moment because you're like, I know who you are, and I'm like, wow, Ryusei's thick enough to not catch you double talking to him. Later on, we see that Sonata is chewed out by Kamen for her failures, and she is banished to the Dark Nebula by Virgo. So she's gone for the series. Kamen does collect her horoscope switch, leaving us 1 commander down out of 15? I forget the number. The full number offhand.
I forgot to.
Yeah. We're down. We're 1 down. We have several more to get through. Back at the Rabbit Hutch, Ryusei is officially entered into the club as an apprentice. He's not a full member by Gentaro. So, yay! We end with Ryusei going, hey, I infiltrated the club. I am 1 step closer to my goal. And that ends the first half of our stuff. How'd you like Meteor's introduction? Or proper introduction, mind you.
I feel like this is that point where you kind of, as a viewer, want to somewhat hate him, but because of the way Gentaro treats him, it's like, oh my god, you actually kind of have to like him.
Yeah.
You have to like that you hate him at this point.
Yeah, Gentaro refusing to let Ryusei get the better of him is just like, I will buddy you into defeat. Which, will be a trend for Gentaro going forward.
I'm sure.
Like I said, have you wanted to see a man verbally and physically beat down his final boss? Just wait till we get to the end of the series. And I also forgot that Fourze not only had 1 director's cut of 2 episodes, it had 2 director cuts of 2 episodes. Or 2 sets of episodes. Cosmic's debut, which is also coincidentally the end of Meteor's arc, is cut together into like 1 longer episode as a director's cut, and then the final 2 episodes is a director's cut as well. I forgot about that until I saw it, and I'm like, shit. I think I have both downloaded, so I can make notes of what's in the director's cut. Yeah, it's a nice introduction to Ryusei. I like this. It's like, this guy is a bit of a dick. He's trying to use everybody for his own goals that aren't, like, selfish, but he is doing some very selfish things to get it. Anyway, shall we roll on to the second half?
I guess we shall.
Alright. We got episode 19, Steel Dragon Unmatched. We are outside the Rabbit Hutch where Yuki surprises Kengo, who drops by, And we get a new food droid, the Dog Dozer. I don't remember how to pronounce the actual name for it, so it's just the Dog Dozer to me. I almost thought it was actually supposed to be a cat dozer because of the head.
But it's a hot dog.
I know, but the head looked like kind of like a cartoon cat head. Also, this reveals that all of the food droids are designed by Yuki.
I mean, it makes sense.
And they may or may not be sponsored by McDonald's, because McDonald's is a sponsor of the series. Or a sponsor of the franchise, mind you. So these may or may not be actual McDonald's products that are not labeled. So take that what you will. In the Rabbit Hutch, Kingo finds Gentro trying out some switches with Ryusei in his spot in the computer turtles and stuff, more or less trying to usurp him on the team. They're testing out the hand switch, not magic hand. No, this one's on the leg, and it can kind of operate on its own and do its own shit.
So it's magic smart hand?
More or less. But Kingo is not pleased that they're doing this shit without him. And the club is just like, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. But then Kingo finds out that 30 and 31 are finishing up, and he is pissed because they are dangerous. Apparently, that we hear repeated several times is that they're dangerous switches. And I'm like, well, he's right. I mean, they are. This is at the number for form change switches. Oh, look, that's what happened last time. We didn't pay attention to that one.
Yeah.
Maybe we should super pay attention to that, especially since it's 2 switches now. So we have a bit of a scuffle after that. Ryusei checks in later. I accidentally have it listed as Kengo for some reason. Not Kengo, Ryusei. Checks in with Tachibana outside. And Tachibana just tells him, hey, make Fourze better. Do your job. Be a better, double agent. Except you're not working for the horoscopes. You're working for yourself. And as our cold open, coming out of it, Hayame is being watched over by Virgo, since Gamal wants some results, and Hayame is the only one operating at the moment. Because Leo doesn't do this shit. Because I also believe Leo doesn't work at the school. Because for reference, we have not seen who Leo actually is. And I don't think we will for several dozen episodes, because he doesn't work at the school. I don't think. Meanwhile, in a little one-on-one conversation between Gentro and Usugi, Usugi's kind of down and complimenting Gentro for weird reason because Sonata's out on sick leave and he's all bummed.
Yes, out on sick leave.
Yeah, extended sick leave, aka she's gone for most of the series. I think the entire series, actually. I think she has a cameo towards the end of the series, but otherwise, no, she's gone. Gentro ends up showing off the quote-unquote complete NS magnet switches. I'm going to call them the NS magnet switches now. But once more, Kengo is not happy, says they're dangerous, tries to take it away from Gentro. They have a bit of a scuffle. Collapses because of his quote-unquote illness. And Gentro tries to calm him down. And it's like, hey, we should trust Ryusei a little. He's not a bad person. This is where that interpretation that Gentro knows Ryusei is just Gentro's trying to figure out his deal or something, trying to be like, oh, I'm trying to win you over by trying to like incorporate you into the team and stuff. And it's like, fuck, I'm causing friction with Kengo and everything. Everything I'm doing is backfiring.
Because of course it is.
Yeah, Kengo just pretty much refuses all this and is just like, we're not friends anymore, and leaves. He ends up at the school track where he runs into an old friend of his, Rumi, who he's been friends with since first grade. We see that she gets a bit gassed after a run that she was just doing. But the two catch up afterwards. Only for her, I believe, team captain? Because he goes, I think he goes like practically unnamed for most of these 2 episodes. Right? I'm not crazy in thinking that he goes unnamed for most of these 2 episodes.
I think you're right on that.
Yeah, but her team captain is just like, hey, fuck off you. You're not on the team, and you go back to doing your shit. Pretty much just being an asshole. Later on, we see a Zodiart is destroying some cars, and this draws Kingo, Yuki, Kentaro, and Ryusei's attention, as we see the Dragon Zodiart is causing a scene to draw out the riders, because he has been tasked with blowing their asses up. So Kentaro goes off to fight it. Ryusei decides, I don't want to fight it. I'm good. I don't feel like fighting him. Maybe the smartest choice he's made so far. The Dragon Zodiart turns to be extremely tough and durable, so nothing's going through. And when using form changes, those form changes are turned, the elemental properties of those form changes are turned directly back on Gentaro. So with Elect and Fire out of the picture, it's more or less just a scramble through switches, with Ryusei calling out which switches to use instead of Kingo, which more or less irritates him even more.
Okay, I do want to mention something here that I have a problem with.
What?
Fire states. It isn't what we saw in shows supposed to be a case of he could absorb fire blasts.
Yes.
AKA his attack.
Yes.
Meaning if his attack got turned back to him, could he not just absorb that and be stronger?
Yes.
Except we break that.
Yeah, I think the show went and forgot that extremely one-time case, unfortunately. I didn't even think about that.
It's one of those... That's a point where I'm like, maybe I understand why Fire States never was that well known, because we do have that little hiccup, and it's like, let's just overlook it.
Yeah.
It's like seeing that, I'm like, makes a lot of sense why I didn't know about that one then.
Yeah.
Oops. Is all that can be said to that. At least it's not as bad as the plot for Geo. Like,
yeah.
I can overlook one little flub. It's when you start having an entire show be a flub that it's a problem.
When this starts being commonplace instead of the oddball rare instance where it's like, oh shoot, we overlooked this because we kind of need Gentaro to lose this fight. We kind of don't need this fight to end in more or less a stalemate.
Yeah. I mean, I get it for the circumstance of the fight. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're dealing with form change arcs, so of course previous forms can't be powerful.
Yeah.
It's just, I honestly feel like that should have still been a point, but a case of maybe use it to the fact that no matter how hard Fire States got pushed, it could never overpower it.
Yeah, I think that would require a bit more screen time than this fight was allowed is the problem.
That might be the case. But at the same time, I think, didn't he get knocked out of fire states, like, not... like, after the attack got reflected back?
No, he stayed in fire states until he went pseudo-magnet states.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he had the pop shield, and he popped shield in order to block some attacks in fire states.
That's right.
Yeah. No, he stayed in fire states until, like...
So I can give it that, then.
Yeah.
Like that's fine, then.
Anywho, like I said, Gentaro tries out pseudo-magnet states, which I am surprised the mod doesn't have this. Have these pseudo, like, state forms in the mod. Unfortunately, the anyway, the pseudo-magnet states ends up just pulling all the metallic objects onto Gentaro and also, like, locking his hands together. So, this isn't going well. And unfortunately, Gentaro is also standing in between two very large metal trucks. Maybe you should have knocked in, fought him in a parking lot.
I mean, you know, suicide tactics.
Yeah.
That's even stated in it, too, is what's bad.
Yeah. So Dragon, after seeing this poor display, leaves, managing to beat the pull of magnet states since he's a metal dragon. Gentaro is about to be crushed, but Sun drops by with the Powerdizer to stop the trucks from crushing Gentaro, so Kengo and Ryusei can turn off the two switches, preventing Gentaro from being crushed to death. I also love how the Powerdizer disappears as soon as the switches turn off.
Yeah.
Shun, you have you have no comment on this argument that's happening? No? Okay. This is probably where people will point out that, yeah, we haven't brought up Miyu or Shun or Tomoko at all in like the last two episodes. They have lines and stuff, but they're not super important. Anywho, we check in with Hayame, who has Virgo, checking in on him, and we find out that, yeah, Hayame sicked dragon on the two of them, since, hey, this is a really strong Zodiart who's already stronger, who's practically on par as a horoscope without any type of evolution last one state, so, this is probably a good one to send after them. Back at the rabbit hutch, Gentaro and Kengo are on the outs, and we have a more or less a mom, dad, please stop fighting situation with the rest of the club just sitting there like, guys, please stop. This is awkward when the main two people are having an argument. They try to figure out a plan to stabilize the switches, which Kengo deflect or like ask Ryusei what his plan is, and more or less he comes up with a, hey, why don't we make like stick phones on the switches, two separate phones on the switches, which he notes an internal monologue that yeah him and Tachibana came up with this. Technically, I think it's more Tachibana than him.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yep. Of course, this is identical to what Kengo has already come up with, except it is one phone that's a flip phone instead of two separate phones. I don't know why they both landed on the phone idea.
I mean, wheel of ideas, and that was the only thing that it stopped on?
Probably. Ryusei wants to end up making it now, but Kengo refuses because, the switches are dangerous. We should probably take our time with this one. Well, another argument ensues within the club between Gentaro and Kengo, and this makes Kengo like quit the club entirely, and he leaves. And he's off by a lake venting when he notices that Ruby's nearby watching him from a sign or behind a sign that she is too tall to be standing behind. or is too short for her to be behind. My bad. He ends up giving her some advice on how to like better her run stance, since she's like taller now than she was before, and it works for her. And she wants him to join the track team after she asks him, is like, hey, you working at any of your clubs? No? Why don't you come join the track team as an advisor? Like, help me out. And he kind of agrees. Meanwhile, Gintro is sulking on a rooftop when the dog dozer drops by to kind of console him a little. It doesn't help. It's bad when not even dog can help you.
Yeah, when dog's not very effective.
Yeah. We check in with Kengo later as he's with Rumi, and Rumi's practicing some shot put stuff with balls. And she's doing good, and then she leaves to take a break real quick and goes behind a bush that the Zodiac like steps like around from, more or less kind of implying Rumi's make be the Zodiac. Spoilers, it's not.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's weird out like right after.
Yeah, it's weird that the show tries to imply that, and they don't make a big deal about it. Like Kengo starts along that line, that train of logic, but I guess he's too distracted by the whole situation to kind of like land on the idea that like, wait, maybe Rumi's the Zodiac, because like all this shit lines up with like me and her.
Well, I think too he really started piecing it together when he noticed the cannonballs were similar to the shot put.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, we're seeing that same relationship as an audience too, and then yeah, that was left field. It's like, nope.
Yep. But as Kengo's being attacked, Gentaro is delivered the complete mag phone and gets called in by Miyu to say, hey, Kengo's being attacked, and he transforms, flies off to go fight Dragon, and he arrives fighting him as the rest of the team kind of arrives, I guess, only a little bit after him, because I guess it wasn't that far away. Gentaro's taking his time fighting him. Ryusei is just like, why aren't you using mag phone? Just use the fucking mag phone already. Fucking slaps on driver, transforms, doesn't give two shits, just goes in, fights Dragon as well.
And is like, dude, don't you have an upgrade or something?
Literally, it's just like, hey, you got something new? Hey, use the form change. Hey, use the form. I am not helping you. Out of the kindness of my goddamn heart, use your goddamn form change already, for fuck's sakes. So, Gentaro tries to use it, and again, Kengo warns him. It's like, no, it's dangerous. We haven't tested it yet. We can't this is why we literally have a testing chamber in the rabbit hutch. Why are you not listening to me? But he tries to pull the mag phone in half as it's designed to be into the two, so the switches can be inserted in. Except it doesn't work, and the mag phone flies off to parts unknown. So, we're up shit creek without a paddle, and that's how the episode ends. Which takes us to episode 20, Transcendent Magnetism. So we have no mag phone, and we know nothing we've done so far works. Let's try a double limit break between Meteor and Fourze. That only stuns him. And more or less just forces him to go, hey, here's some balls. Bye. Meteor also ends up leaving because, well, this was a waste of time. Bye. And it leaves Gentaro to say to Kengo, hey, I'm going to recover the mag phone. Which Ken goes like, what, Ryusei's mag phone? That's not my mag phone. I'm still mad at you. Bye. And that's our cold open. Coming out of it, we see Haume being questioned by a couple cops over all the monster incidents in the school, kind of acting normal, even though, monsters keep showing up every week. and Hayami is just more or less blowing him off because it's like, look, this is normal. Look, there's nothing wrong. We take care of our own problems. It's okay. You don't need to investigate this. Gamao ends up dropping by and whammies the two cops, and more or less is like, you know nothing. You don't need to investigate anymore. Go fucking write somebody some tickets. Goodbye. So they're gone. So we ain't gotta worry about cops anymore. Back at the hutch, Miyu ends up splitting the club in half. Her, Gintaro, Jake, and Tomoko are gonna head off to the lake to go find the mag phone because that's where it probably landed, we hope, assuming we tracked it right. While the rest of the club try to go make up to Kengo and get him to come back. Meanwhile, checking with Kengo, he's on that train of logic we were talking about earlier with the whole, maybe Rumi's the Zodiac, but he's kind of distracted by the whole situation. We see the others checking out a lake. Gentaro is like literally swimming through the entire lake using Screw, a new switch. Yeah, there's been a couple more switches that got thrown out in these batch of episodes that I haven't mentioned because they're not important. They are here to do one thing, and then they're kind of done. But that team doesn't have any luck finding it in the lake, and the other team also has no luck getting back Kengo. He more or less, as we see through flashback, kind of mimics Ryusei and not really caring about what Gentaro's doing right now. And Ryusei more or less has a very hard no, do not do what I did. Your friend will fall into a coma from a busted Zodiac switch.
Maybe.
Don't worry, we'll get there. Yeah, he more or less tells Kengo's like, no, you should care. Like, don't say you don't care, because, like, you might regret that one day. Hard. And it might drive you to do some really stupid stuff. Not talking from experience. But Dragon attacks, confirming that it isn't Rumi, because Rumi's also here, more or less trying to, like, keep Kengo on the track team because she's helping him. Or he's helping her. But this attack prompts Ryusei to actually protect the club members. So he, like, literally runs off in a different direction from the club. Dragon goes after them, ignoring Ryusei to go after the club. So Ryusei can transform, because Dragon does not understand that, oh, look, the new kid that just showed up with all the fucking... with this new rider. I wonder if it's him. But he manages to get an opening to get the others to safety and more or less get himself out. So Dragon's little attack failed. Checking back in with the other group, Gentaro gets called about all this and is pulled off that team to go try to make things up with Kengo. So now Miyu, Jake, and Tomoko, probably the last three people that need to be doing this, are now trying to find the switch out in the wilderness. Miyu, why did you put yourself on this team? Your strong points are not physical. It's more mental. Nobody here's traits are physical. Why is Shun not here to dig a hole?
Very good question.
Anyway, we cut to a track and field event where Ryusei uses magnetisms to more or less explain to Kengo, look, you're both in the wrong mindset. You're both being stupid about the situation. If you'd only like realize that you're both being dumb, especially when Gentaro told me that, hey, he wanted me to do this to start with to alleviate like the pressure on you, because you also are a bit on the frail side. So hopefully he's trying to just more or less talk Kingo through this problem. Gintaro manages to arrive just in time to see that, hey, that one asshole before is in fact Dragon, and he goes last one. So Gintaro has to fight him. More or less, the fight goes over the railings from the bleachers they're in, where Kingo and Ryusei are, and they fight for a bit. Gintaro starts to patch things up with Kingo. After Ryusei runs off, becomes a meteor, comes back, fights. Unfortunately, with no mag phone, they're up shit creek without a paddle still. Thankfully, the other team finds the mag phone, thanks to good boy Dogdozer. Which, that was a fairly large and deep hole that they were in. Why did they not use Dogdozer to start with?
Reasons.
Why did it take them 3 feet in probably a 4-foot radius to be oh, maybe we should use the food droid that is good at digging that we made for this exact situation? But yeah, they get it back. Kingo makes the final adjustments with Fourze nearby, because he needs to make the adjustments with the Fourze driver as well for it. So Meteor has to buy time by using the elect switch in the Meteor driver, not giving him a form change, more or less just giving him electric punches.
Which
I am sure you...
seems weird.
It's because the Meteor driver, I believe, is compatible with all of the circle switches. I think. It has been a long time since I've seen any video footage of the DX Meteor driver. But if it works, like another thing we'll see in the future, it's compatible with all the circle switches. It's
so
one
in
of
theory, wouldn't that also mean the Meteor switch would be compatible on the Fourze driver?
Yes. That's where fusion states comes in. Because fusion states is weird in that the proper switch that creates the form is not in the circle slot. It is in the square slot. The Meteor switch is what's in the circle slot.
Well then.
Yeah, fusion states is weird. We'll get there when we get to the solo film. But yeah, as Kingo's making the adjustments, him and Gentro finally make up, patch up things. They're back on good terms. Thankfully, they're done. They're done as Ryusei is out of ways of trying to punch Dragon with electricity. So Gentro, taking a deep breath, goes magnet, unlocks the phone, puts them both in, hits the switches. He goes magnet states. He's nice, big, tanky boy. And pretty much obliterates Dragon with his big old his rail gun, essentially. Because he has 2 turrets on his shoulders that pop off, become a magnet, and they are more or less a rail gun. So Dragon's blown up, switch is turned off. Meteor returns the elect states switch before he books it. So day is saved, except we check in with Kamau, who tells Hayame, maybe we should speed things up. I need some more potential horoscopes, because, we got 12 to go through. We only got so many episodes. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that many in this stretch. They all come in, after this, after, these batch of episodes, I believe. And we kind of rapid fire them. Checking back in with the club, Kingo returns, medal in hand from Rumi from the track and field event. He's quit the track team since Rumi is fine. She's okay to not have him coach her, so he's back in the club. He's gonna put the medal up over the computer station, which I'm gonna see if that is actually still there. because I am assuming it's going to still be there. Yeah, things are looking good until Gentaro and Kingo get into a fight once more, and Ryusei is just fed up at this point of just like, oh my god, please stop fighting over me. Oh my god. Still not realizing that this is all his fault. If he was more forefront, maybe we wouldn't have this argument. Okay, we would probably have a different argument at this point. And that is our second half episode. So what do you think of our, I guess our first real, like, normal set of episodes after Ryusei's introduction?
I feel like this did good to give more of a backstory for him.
Yeah.
And kind of gives us the idea of, okay, this is what happened, and he's seeing a lot of similarities here.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I feel like this is the point where maybe even the start of the next two-parter, I might could see that being the whole he hides it and it gets revealed by the end of it, but I don't feel like it should drag on more than that.
Well, there's more to the he hides it and then reveals it, to be honest. Because you know how I said it's going to take us 14 episodes to get to that point?
Uh-huh.
Guess what also comes in at that 14 episode mark?
You done said earlier. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Cosmic State's debut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be honest, there is a lot that goes on in those two episodes, which is probably why they decided to do a director's cut on it.
Probably.
But yeah, we have a lot going on in like 14 episodes, but we've got a road to get there with a form change that is not Gentaro's, because like I said, Cosmic comes in 14 episodes, meaning Gentaro gets no form changes between now and then. All he is going to get is more random switches, because we got to fill out that 39 switch marker before we get to 40. Ryusei will get his form change between now and then.
Oh man, of course, he's got to have the form change to get back on par with magnet states.
Yeah. And I hope you are ready to let it rip. Everyone who has no idea why I say that is going to be very confused until we get there. Anyway, it's a nice two episodes. It's a nice introduction to magnet states. It does help continue the headcanon that Gentaro knows who Ryusei is and is just waiting for him to tell him. That is going to extremely backfire on him. To be super honest, I know where this goes, and it's going to backfire on him so goddamn hard. Yeah. You got anything else to add on these batch of episodes?
No.
All right, then. Next week we're continuing with more Fourze. And the immediate 2 episodes is going to see the return of longtime Toku alumni, now Nagasawa. You'll remember him from Double. She's the magician's assistant.
Ah.
Yeah, she's here again because she plays 5 million roles in Toku, because she's just one of those people that just keeps coming back for whatever role.
And just never gets a big role, apparently.
No, she had a big role. She's Hurricane Blue in Hurricaneer.
Ah.
That was her first role. Like, she had her big role. She's more or less coming back like Darren's actor in I am a side role now. In a supporting cast role.
I mean, I guess it could be worse.
Yeah. Which happens all the time. Like, Shit, what is his name? Because I was watching some Gaim stuff today. The owner of Droopers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Kabuto. He's... I need to look this up, actually, because I don't remember. That is not the page I need. That's the page I need. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh no, he's Goro from Zelda, or from Ryuki. He's Goro from Ryuki, a side character, and he's one of several Zabis. He's the Zabi we never got to in Kabuto. Yeah, that happens all the time. Like, spoilers for one of our future episodes. We're going to see Peko 2 years before he had a role in Gaim. But anyway, if you like what you've seen, drop us a follow. We really appreciate it. Working our way towards that 200 follower goal with some All Rider Revolution and some Halo 1 custom campaigns. Right? Halo 1?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I was just like, oh yeah, it's Halo custom campaigns. I never thought to make sure which Halo. We got a Discord, !Discord. We'll get you that. We have a Dropbox for questions. If you got questions, we will answer them on the relevant podcast, whether it's here or TGS. Twitter is where you can get updates on when we go live, at TG Saloon. And that'll do it for tonight. For me and for Tommy, good night, everybody. We will see you next time.